What the bro?
It was a police chase that ended in a death.
Are you good?
No, he bleeding heavy.
On an October night in 2020, Karan Hilton was on a moped, pursued by officers in Washington, D.C., who say they suspected him of a crime. The lengthy chase through residential streets ended when Karan drove into the path of an oncoming minivan. He died hours later. Body-worn cameras show what happened next.
Bleeding too much. While my baby was laying on the ground, blood is gushing out of his head. They're checking his pockets. You understand that? No one is attending to my child.
After the incident, the officers denied that a chase had occurred and attempted to hide details of what happened, at one point even turning off their body-worn cameras.
This was a murder and a cover-up.
Ahmed Bassett prosecuted the two officers, Terrence Sutton and Andrew Zabowski. After Bassett began investigating, a different story emerged.
This was treated as an ordinary traffic fender bender accident by Sutton and Zabowski, who took control of the scene. Basically, they told the car that had hit Mr. Brown to leave within 20 minutes, and so that was a piece of evidence that drove away.
Are you guys good?
Witnesses who were trying to provide information about what they saw and heard were told to shoo, and no witness statements were taken.
Everything I'm speaking is straight facts.
Prosecutors concluded the officers had no legal reason to pursue Hilton and therefore helped cause his death. In 2022, a federal jury convicted Sutton of second-degree murder and both officers of obstruction of justice. And in 2024, a judge sentenced them to 5 and 4 years in prison, respectively.
I was happy for Mr. Hilton's 6-month-old. To grow up without him was a travesty, and so to be able to give them some modicum of justice, to give the community some modicum of justice, was a relief.
The relief was short-lived. Yes, sir. 2 days after he freed January 6th defendants who assaulted police officers, President Trump granted Sutton and Zabowski full pardons, casting aside the jury's findings. Neither officer had spent a day in prison. And when Trump was asked about why he did it, he didn't appear to understand the case.
They were arrested, put in jail for 5 years because they went after an illegal, and I guess something happened where something went wrong. And they arrested the 2 officers and put them in jail for going after a criminal.
But Karan Hilton was a U.S. citizen. The pardons outraged the community, resulting in protests. In Northwest D.C., Karan's friends don't feel justice was served.
You pardoned the killer, you know what I'm saying? You pardoned the person that took a child's life, somebody's son, somebody's brother.
And what message do you fear that the pardon of these 2 individuals sends?
I think there's 2 implications that jump out. One is that if you are law enforcement in this country, you can operate above the law. The second is you really see what the corruptive nature of a pardon is.
Lawyers for the officers say the case never should have been brought and would have been overturned on appeal. They say Hilton was a known gang member with a long arrest record and that officers had good reason to stop him. The officers are now suing the Justice Department, alleging malicious prosecution.
So calling it a murder and a cover-up is absurd. There have been many instances over the years, unfortunately, where police pursuits result in accidents. It has never been charged as a crime before, much less murder.
As for their pardons, neither of the officers would have qualified under what the DOJ manual states is an important consideration: acceptance of responsibility, remorse, and atonement. And the pardons have had profound consequences, against the recommendations of the department's own disciplinary review board. Just 2 months later, D.C. Police Chief Pamela Smith reinstated Sutton with a 25-day suspension, while Zabowski was allowed to retire after paying a $2,500 fine. The D.C. Auditor's report called the actions extremely lenient, saying they undermine the accountability and transparency that are so important for any major city police department in maintaining trust with the community. For Karan's mom, it was a betrayal, not only of her.
If someone kills your child, will you want them to babysit your child, your next child, or any child?
But of the city where she still lives.
I live my life in this country, and everything that I want, I worked, I lived for, was taken from me. I can't see my child. I go home empty.